The Hauraki Big Show with Jace, Mike and Keyzie. Tune in weekdays at 4 on Radio Hauraki.
Got a bit of a question. I've got to ask for your advice. Not so much you, Keyzie, but you can listen if you want. And chip in.
No, I'm all good.
I find it weird. So I've got, guys, I've got a daughter. Have I told you about that?
Yes.
She's 5 years old. And I find it weird the way other people treat her and treat her when you're around. So I went to a cafe, and this happens a lot, not necessarily going to a cafe, but this thing here I'm about to tell you. And you sit there and you might order a fluffy, for example.
Yes.
Which is just hot milk?
No, it's just the foam. Just the foam.
Right.
Yeah, no hot milk. That's another issue, Keyzie. Don't get me started.
Right.
And often the wait staff will just bowl up and they'll just say, oh, would you like some chocolate? Or would you like some jelly beans? Or would you like a chocolate fish? Or would you like some marshmallows? But they're not asking me as the parent. They're asking my 5-year-old daughter.
Yes.
And I can tell you the answer's always yes. The kids never say no to that. But it puts you in an awkward position as a parent, and some people out there will be listening to me thinking, what a sookie lala. But for us, we don't like giving our kid sweet stuff because then she absolutely maxes out and then ends up in a tantrum on the floor when she recovers from the sugar crash.
Sure.
So what we'd prefer is that if wait staff or whoever asked us as the parents and then we made the call.
Sure.
But they ask it directly. What's your vibe on that?
Yes, no, I think if they're going to do that, they should ask the parents first, and quietly and gently.
Thank you.
Quite often they don't even ask.
No,
you know what I mean. It'll just be on the fluffy.
100%.
You know what I mean. So it'll be a fluffy with marshmallows all over it, sort of thing. My girls love that stuff.
Oh yeah,
they loved it.
And it's an amazing thing to watch because you can see the addiction, right?
Yes.
Because you know that sugar is super addictive, but you can see yourself in the kid, except instead of ciggies and beers and whatever else you might be able to think of,
yes,
it's sugar, man.
Well, and
they love it much.
The other issue is this, of course, is that if they go to a cafe and they don't get that, they go, where's my marshmallow?
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean?
Now you've got expectations
yes,
have been set.
I need my marshmallow,
yeah,
man.
That's right, yeah. It's so sweet.
Yeah, come on, man.
Absolutely jonesing for the sweet stuff. But yeah,
yes.
I do find it interesting, but I know there's probably people out there that just think, oh, I don't care how much. I don't care what you feed my kid up.
What would often happen with our girls is they go to the grandparents and the grandparents feed them up with sugar. And they just, like a sack full of sugar, and then they get them all hyped up, and then they drop them off again.
Yeah, totally.
That's why, you know how people talk about, oh, I love being a grandparent, because they get back on their kids.
It's disgraceful.
They pump them up with sugar, they get them hyped up, they get them freaking out, and then they drop them back home
My
again.
mother turns up for a holiday, and she comes with a suitcase full of chocolate.
Yeah.
She never. You know what she told me that she used to do when we were kids? If she had chocolate, she would go to the toilet and lock the doors, and she would eat the chocolate in there so that we wouldn't get any.
The Hauraki Big Show with Jason Hoyte, Mike Minogue and Keyzie.
Hey, look, you guys will know this. We sort of might have touched on this on the podcast a few days ago, but we work till 7 o'clock. Show finishes at 7, and lately we've been doing a little bit of extra work after the show, which sees us getting home a little bit later, I should say.
Yes.
And as a result of that, when I get home now, I'm no longer able to read my daughter a book before she goes to bed.
Yes.
So I get home and she's in bed. And the door is closed and she's going to sleep. But I got home and it was the first night of it a couple of nights ago there. And my wife said, oh, you'll be able to go in and, say good night to her. She should still be awake. And she was. She's like, I went in there and I gave her a kiss and a cuddle. And she said, where were you, Daddy? And I said, oh, I was at work. She was like, why? I said, oh, because we got to work a little bit later now. And she said, why? And I said, well, it's just a bit more work to do now. She said, who told you have to work later? I said, oh, it was the boss. The boss said, we've got to work later now. She said, no, you don't listen to him.
Yeah.
I said, oh, yeah. She said, you tell him no. You tell him you've got a daughter. And I thought, fair call. Actually,
bloody wise words, Mogey.
Yeah, man.
Quite frankly.
So I'm not working late anymore.
Yeah.
I'm going to go. Actually, in fact, I'm probably going to go early I'll probably go about 5, 5:15.
Yeah, well,
something like that.
Keyzie and I have had to, as a result of that, take up your workload, and so Keyzie and I are having to leave a little bit later. My wife's not happy with me at all, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know how your wife is.
Oh, no, she's actually stoked
happy,
about it.
Yeah.
Because I don't leave till like 9 now.
She told me that she was...
Because all that stuff Mogey was doing post-show, turns out it was about 2 hours of stuff.
You know, genuinely, Mogey, you just reminded me of something about when I was a little kid, and I legitimately remember driving my parents crazy.
Yeah, that checks out.
Where I would constantly be going, but why?
Oh, yeah.
They'd say something, or I'd ask a question and they'd tell me something, and I'd go, but why? All the time I did that, little Hoyte J.
Curious little fella.
I was a curious little fella. I was. Yeah. Oh, that's very nice.
Although my daughter had some insights and you were just asking annoying questions.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? There's a difference there.
I mean, I was annoying. She was cute.
Yeah.
Totes,
That's right.
totes.
Yeah.
I was different. I was like a know-it-all.
Oh.
I was the one who, like, you'd talk about anything and I go, oh, yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
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 Well, you were, because you spent so much time in your room and studying and stuff, you know, that you did have a fair amount of knowledge, little Keyzie.
Well, because I was in a bubble for a few years.
Yeah, that's right.
I couldn't do anything but study.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is why I'm so learned now.
Learned,
isn't it?
Learned.
Oh, God, I got to go back in the bubble.
The Hauraki Big Show with Jace, Mike and Keyzie. Tune in weekdays at 4 on Radio Hauraki.
G'day, fellas.
G'day, Mogey.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, got a little yarn about my daughter.
Oh, is this a 1.5 Mogey?
No, I guess it is. 1.5 Mogeys. My daughter's 5, and as they get older, they get a bit more useful, Jace, don't they?
Sure.
You're able to ask them to go and get things, and I mean, they still make more mess. It's still a net loss in terms of the mess that's made.
Always.
But being asked them to do things is pretty handy. I've been asking my daughter for probably 3 years now, she's only 5, to pick up our dog's feces.
Yes.
She always insisted that she have a plastic bag, but I tell her that that's bad for Mother Nature.
Oh, do you use a spade or something?
No, just her hand. And so she's been reluctant, to be fair. But today she came into my room and she said, "Dad, when can I start picking up Tinker's poos?"
Who, Tinker?
And I said, what do you mean? She goes, "Well, I've learned how to do it with a bag." I said, "Oh, yeah, how do you do it?" She goes, "Well, you put your hand in there and then you grab the poo and you don't touch the poo and then you pull the bag over the top." I said, that's actually exactly how you do it, but I'm not sure that you're ready.
Sure.
You know, I want to make sure that you're ready to be picking up dog poos, twice a day for the rest of your life. I don't want to just give this job to anybody. I mean, my wife loves doing it.
I can imagine. Well, it's a cherished role, isn't it?
Well, picking up poos.
Yeah, man. So, we sort of wait till there's about 75, 76 out there and then just do it in one foul swoop. And then the next week you pick up another 75.
Just with your hands, yeah, okay.
Just with your hands or her hands. I don't touch them. And anyway, I've said to her, we'll put you on a month trial. We'll give you 30 days. But if you stuff this up at all, then your mum gets the job back, and that's the end of it. So yeah, we've hired her in that role. And I guess the trick there is I've made her think that it is a great role to have, and something she should cherish.
Does she get paid?
Well, she does, man. She gets free room and board, free education, free healthcare. She's got a pretty sweet gig, actually.
That's a good deal.
She does very little.
Good deal.
She does very little around the house. But there must have been some tricks that you had, Jace. I mean, you've had 4 daughters in your life. I'm very young as a parent. There must be so much more to learn.
Sure.
And the listeners out there will be able to help us on 3483.
It's really interesting just from my perspective in terms of, your kids do as they grow older become more useful. And what I found was really good is I basically turned them into my servants.
Yes.
So, they would, I'd get them to make me toast, for example, or coffee. and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like my daughter would make me some toast and she'd bring it over and it'll be disgusting. But I'd eat it and go, that is the best toast I've ever eaten, I think.
Right.
That is yum. And if you give them a bit of encouragement, you know, they'll keep doing that sort of stuff for you. Cleaning your clothes, making your bed, doing the vacuuming. That is the cleanest floor I have ever seen.
Well, hang on. You guys tell me that I'm really good at delivering admin on the show.
Yeah.
That's not the same thing, is it? You're not just saying it so that I do.
different.
that's
You
different.
are. You are really
genuinely
good.
really
Yeah.
good at it.
Yeah, no
Keyzie.
one could deny that.
Yeah.
Keep an ear out for the 25k fiddler, by the way.
Yes. And as long as you give them that encouragement and you set it up like you have set it up, which is this is a big responsibility and I'm taking a bit of a risk giving it to you, you know what I mean? They'll fly into it, no question.
Yeah. I mean, the only one I remember that was my dad used to always put me in charge of going and getting beers from the fridge.
Right.
That's another good one.
And
Is
then-
that what he said? You're in charge of that.
Yeah, he said, go get me a beer.
good.
Because there was something about opening the beer.
Right.
With the bottle opener.
Yeah.
Which was quite a big deal.
Yeah.
And that used to be my job.
You're in charge of that.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yes.
I don't mind opening a beer, though. I would have given you something else to do.
It's good that they go and fetch it for you.
Yes.
You know, that was the
The
whole
fetching's good.
The whole concept behind the coffees and the toast and stuff is I didn't have to get out of bed.
Actually,
Can you get me a coffee, some toast, and a beer, please?
at your house too, your daughters wouldn't have had to worry about picking up dog poos because they're just all on your bed, aren't they?
That's true.
Generally speaking,
The
yeah.
main problem was all the duck shit.
Yeah.
Is that still in your lounge, by the way? The
Yeah, I
poos?
just left it there.
The Hauraki Big Show. Weekdays from 4 on Radio Hauraki.
Hey, I just wanted to tell you a little yarn about my daughter, if I can.
Sure. Is
Is
this
that
One
good?
A Half Mogeys?
It is. It is, actually, yeah.
Oh, okay, great.
One and a half Mogeys. What's amazing about that sting is we do it live every single time, and Jace, you're always just a little bit out.
I know,
at the
it
start.
drives me nuts, man. I'm just a bit slow on
Just a
it.
little bit, but we'll keep working on it. So my daughter has started at primary school now, which is the first school. There's primary, and then there's secondary, Keyzie, and then there's tertiary.
Isn't there intermediate?
Well, there's intermediate in between there.
Well,
actually.
I go to a primary school, went all the way through. And
Right.
then yeah, so that's just
Okay.
an
Oh, that
example.
explains a
You
lot.
can also have intermediate, but you know, that's oftentimes you'll find that's for der brains.
What, intermediate?
Anyway, as part of being at the school there, all the kids have to do write their own poem and recite it to the class.
That's cute.
Which I thought was pretty full on, actually, for a 5-year-old to have to do that. And anyway, so I said to her, you want a hand with it? No, I'm all good. Righto. God, jeez.
Don't have to scream at me.
I know. Anyway, I went into class, and it must have been the day after. I try not to stay abreast of what's happening at the school. I find it can be a bit dull.
Right.
But anyway, the teachers pulled me aside and she said, your daughter's done her poem. I was like, oh, has that happened already? Yeah. Everybody in the classroom had them in absolute tears. Such was the beauty of the prose there, Woody J.
Yeah.
So it seems like she's a bit of a chip off the old block there.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. All the kids were crying their eyes out, the teachers and that, all crying.
From one poem.
Yeah.
And how old's your daughter?
Still 5, yeah.
Yeah. It's funny, actually. I think I mentioned this a little while back, actually, Mogey.
Yeah.
My daughter in English, and to be fair, she was in the third form at the time, so she's quite a few years ahead of you.
Like 12.
An intermediate at that stage, school. And she wrote a piece, and I got a phone call from the teacher on my private line. Don't know how she got my private number. And that's right, we were having an affair. And she said, Jace, your daughter's just written the most beautiful short story I've ever read in my life. And
Wow.
she taught English, so she was a big reader, a bit of a bookworm.
Oh, yeah.
What, the English teacher?
Yeah, the English teacher. And she said, do you mind if I send it off to a couple of publishers? Because it's that good. And I said, oh, well, fill your boots. Then all of a
Whatever.
sudden,
Oh.
commissioned. She was commissioned to write a book of short stories, which currently I think over in the States is number 4 on the bestseller list.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It's funny, isn't it? Because I find short stories just turgid.
Yeah, but hers aren't.
The Hauraki Big Show, weekdays from 4 on Radio
I'm
Hauraki.
so stoked you're back into the snacks, Mogey. I really am.
I hate myself already.
Do you? Don't?
Yeah, it doesn't feel good.
Hey, well, at least it wasn't just you by yourself, I mean, Keyzie and I. And
Well,
Bucks,
yeah, no, it
we've
was
all
good,
contributed.
man.
It was
Yeah.
good.
Thanks,
it's not like
guys.
me in the car with my cheese balls.
It's like team bonding.
Yeah, it is. It's nice. I loved it. Hey, have you got that 1 1/2 Mogeys thing there, man?
Oh,
Is it still-
are we doing that?
Yeah, I thought,
totally,
yeah, it
man.
was a
Come
good
on,
idea.
Keyzie.
I thought we weren't doing
Oh,
that.
yeah, no, I know you thought that, but now you find out that we are.
I actually don't have it.
You haven't got it. Okay. Well, anyway. 1 1/2 Mogeys. Oh, man, I have missed that.
Same.
That was really good. So, obviously, my wife left me for a few months, but
Oh,
I
mate,
guess
we're not doing this again,
Guess
are
we're
we?
back together again now. And during that time, my daughter and I had an opportunity to bond because prior to that, my wife was really number 1
No way.
on the call sheet.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
She was the favoured parent, and generally there is one, coming up there. And but we really did bond. It was great, and there was, we had a fantastic time. I thought we really connected. But now that my wife's back, I thought things will be a little bit more even. But she's been ducking off there to daycare, and my wife came home a couple of weeks ago and said, apparently, our daughter was missing her so much that the daycare people had to ring my wife up so that our kid could have a yarn to her.
Wow.
She has never done that before.
I mean, it's cute, but wow.
And then she came home with this note on Monday. Hi, Mummy. I am sorry we are apart right now,
Aw.
but I'll see you at home. Love. And then my daughter's name there. Last night she came home with another one. Hi, Mummy. I wish you were here. I love you. I hope you come in a minute. Love heart, love heart, love heart. So these notes have started coming home.
It's really nice.
They are really nice.
Poignant.
Well, I don't know about poignant, but what? But one thing that's missing is my name or any reference to me in there at all.
Sure.
And today I was taking her to daycare, and I turned around and she had this. She had what I would call a rare look on her face. I said, "What are you thinking about?" She said, "Mama."
Wow, while she was
just,
with you.
she was just thinking about Mama.
While with Mogey.
Well, with old Mogey there.
Does she ever, when she's with Mama, go, what are you thinking about old Mogey?
Well, if that has happened, no one's mentioned it.
Right, yeah.
So I just wonder if there's people out there that have a similar thing where you're so, like, if you feel, like when I say goodbye to my daughter, when my wife says goodbye, it's tears, it's looking out the window, it's when I say goodbye to my daughter, she doesn't even look up. So see ya.
Yeah.
See ya, mate.
Oh, you get to see you.
Yeah.
Do you?
Exactly, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we're just, good parents, I guess. We've taught her to say goodbye. But
Sure.
she doesn't care. But I wonder how many people out there have got similar sorts of stories where they are invisible.
Sure.
Right.
Well, look.
I think, and I love how much my daughter loves my wife.
Sure.
And it's great. It's so cute. I really love it. But it's also pretty funny that,
It'd be nice to be involved, right? In the love there.
As you know, Mogey, I've got 4 girls.
yeah.
Here's the ranking. 1, Mama.
Yeah.
2, the dog.
Yeah.
Rue.
3, the cat. 4, dishwasher. And 5,
Terry.
Terry. 6, Hoyte Jane.
Wow. Well, you're right behind Terry.
Yeah, well, I think we're neck and neck, Terry and I, actually.
Oof. I doubt it.
Which is weird for a personal trainer of your wife. Far out.
What do you mean?
Oh, no, I just think it's just crazy that he's obviously such a good guy, you know what I mean?
Oh, the kids love him, yeah, for sure.
The Hauraki Big Show with Jace, Mike and Keyzie. Tune in weekdays at 4 on Radio Hauraki.
Hey, I've been taking my daughter to swimming lessons.
Oh, is this 1 1/2 Mogeys?
I guess it is. One and a Half Mogeys. If I was going to make any changes to that sting, I would isolate Jace's vocal and just have that.
Yeah, it's so good. What did you roll your eyes for, Chris?
Who the hell's Chris? Oh, that's right. It's my birth name.
That's your birth name. So anyway, that's a funny thing about kids, and you probably won't know this, Keyzie, because you haven't got any yet. I think you're going to have quite a few. Is that they don't know how to swim when they're born, Jace. You have to teach them everything, kids.
But aren't they swimming in the womb?
Yes, they are.
Yes,
but it's a much smaller pool.
Paddling pool.
Yeah, it's really smaller even than a paddling pool. So you have to take them and get lessons. So we take them down, take my daughter down to a little local pool there, and it starts out pretty simple, doesn't it? It's sort of, splash, 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 and just getting them so they're not scared of water in general, having water splash on their face, they're not scared of that, being able to jump off the side of the pool into your arms and all these sorts of things. And my daughter's at the stage now where they're doing the flutter board. So you hold the flutter board, and you're just actually on your back, and she's just kicking. Kick.
I remember doing that.
And the teacher said, she's got a really powerful kick on her.
Yes.
And the teacher just said it's actually really good science because she's got a really good movement in her legs, sort of like it's hip, starts at the hip.
Yes.
And it's got a good flow through it. And you can see that the splash that she gets out of it is just like 1,000 times better than the other kids. And that doesn't mean she's better as a person.
Oh, it kind of
But
sounds
just
like
better as a swimmer, 100%. To the point where the teacher actually took us to the side and just said, she's got a special talent here and you really need to nurture it.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
So funny, actually, because my youngest, Mogey, when I took her swimming, she was about, I think, 7 or 8. And she was in the pool there, and there was diving boards sort of right next to the pool. Yes, a small one, a medium one, and one of those really high ones.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, my daughter noticed that this little kid was on the high diving board and just freaking out.
Right.
And so she went, hang about, this is just how she is as a kid, you know what I mean? Always looking out for others. And so she ran up to the high diving board. She'd never been on a diving board in her life. And we're talking like probably 40 feet up in the air.
How old
there.
was she?
She was 7. And anyway, she started just talking to this kid, was just clinging onto the diving board and sort of lifted her up. And this kid, because she just was freaking out, accidentally knocked her off the diving board. And she did like a quadruple somersault dive and just entered the water like, with no weight whatsoever. It was just boom.
Straight in.
Wow.
And coincidentally, at the time, there was the New Zealand dive team was there. And the coach said, "Excuse me, was that your daughter?" And I went, Yeah. And he said, "That was a phenomenal dive. Has she ever thought of taking up diving?" And I said, "Nah, because she can't actually swim."
Right.
And so she's still under the water at this point?
Yeah, then I turned around and she was nearly drowning, so I had to pull her out. But, they tried to get her signed up, but she wasn't keen. Even though she probably would have thrived, but...
But you hadn't put any time in as a parent to make sure that she could swim, because that's embarrassing that she couldn't swim.
Well, I mean,
at 7.
she was there to learn, you know what I'm saying?
That you had her at the swimming pool and let her run up a diving board when she was 7 and couldn't swim.
God, it was a good dive.
Oh, this is a tune.
That's unreal, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. How come you never taught her how to swim?
Well, I can't swim, you see, so... yeah.
That's the thing. I think most parents are like that. Like, you want to make sure that, your kids are never better at you than anything.
Totally, man.
The Hauraki Big Show with Jace, Mike and Keyzie. Tune in weekdays at 4 on Radio Hauraki.